Welcome back to Holy Week as we journey through the Word together in the footsteps to the cross. Today is Thursday. We're in John 13, and in verse 1, Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. I like that phrase, loved them to the end. There's something striking to me about the loyalty of Jesus to his friends. The phrase to the end can also mean that he loved them to the highest degree or full extent. Now, you might expect to find that in the story of the crucifixion, but we're not there just yet. Instead, we're taking a second look at the Last Supper. John 13 is a rather humble story and a simple lesson on the true nature of love. So let's dig in at verse 3. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. Now pause there for a moment. Jesus had all things under his power. If you didn't know this story, what would you expect to come next? What would you do with all the power of the universe? Seriously, something selfish or something noble? Something awesome or even heroic? Watch carefully here. Same sentence. Jesus had all the power in his hands. And in verse 4, so he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. That's it. That is what Jesus did with all that power. He could do anything, and he chose to scrub some dirty feet. Now, to get this, you got to understand a little Jewish culture. Foot washing was a very normal part of a feast like this. Normal, that is, for a servant. It was generally the responsibility of the lowest servant in the house to wash the dirty feet of the guests. They walked on a lot of dirt, and the hospitable thing to do was to make one of your servants wash all the feet. But Jesus was borrowing this upper room, and apparently no servant was sent up with the scrubber. So Jesus stepped up, or I should say, stepped down. I have to tell you that I love this story. Honestly, I think that this is the most surprising thing about Jesus, that the Son of God came to earth, not to be served, but to serve others. It just amazes me. The shocking reality is that the nature of God is to be a servant. Yes, he is a mighty king, but a king who serves. This is love. Love reverses the order of things, makes a great man humble himself. And Jesus still washes us today. Ephesians 5 says that Jesus washes us clean through the Word. I like that phrase. And it's true. Jesus uses the Bible like soap for your soul. I don't know how it works, but I know it works. A daily Bible habit is like basic spiritual hygiene. Well, back in verse 14, Jesus explains, now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Now it's personal. It is one thing for me to be amazed that Jesus washed feet. It is quite another for me to do the same. But you and I are never too good or too important to serve. If it's not too low for Jesus, it certainly isn't too low for you. You don't need all the power in the world. Anyone can serve. The nature of God is to serve. And to be remade in his image is to serve others the way he serves others. And Jesus promises a blessing when you do it. Look around and you'll see it. Selfish living makes people miserable. Those who serve humbly, like Jesus served, they find the true joy of God's blessing. And in verse 34, a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. So this is the mark of a genuine Christian. This is your branding. Everyone will know that you are his if you love. Read John 13 today and consider this love that changed the world. And perhaps the most amazing thing of all is that you and I not only get to receive this love, we get to love with this love.
Thanks for joining us for today's quick audio guide. You can find the full audio guide for this chapter and hundreds more on the Through the Word app and website. And remember, faith comes by hearing, and hearing through the Word.